Am I the idiot for telling my husband to get over himself when he started berating me for not picking up his brother's son from school? My husband, 37, took his nephew, 12, in after his dad, my husband's brother, was diagnosed with cancer. He told me that his nephew would be staying with us till his dad completes his chemo treatment. I agreed, although he did not consult me about it first. But I told him that he'll be his responsibility, not mine. He asked me to explain why, and I told him it's because 1. He didn't consult me before taking his nephew in, and 2. I'm not equipped nor experienced in taking care / being committed to childcare. I still have to cook and clean, obviously. He said it was fine and that he'd be taking care of him on his own. The other day he called me in the afternoon saying he was stuck in a 2-hour meeting and asked if I could go pick his nephew up from school. I said I was having lunch with mom and discussing family issues. He insisted, but I reminded him that he said he'd be taking care of his nephew, including school pickup / drop-off. I suggested he try to get off work or call some family member to go pick him up. He tried to argue, but I hung up. I went home at 3 and surprisingly found my husband there. He was angry. He started yelling at me, calling me selfish and unfeeling. I told him that his lack of management wasn't my fault. He yelled, saying that my lunch with mom could have fucking waited, but I chose to be fucking petty just to prove a point. I said that wasn't true and told him to get over himself and stop acting like he was the victim when he put himself in this situation knowing he wouldn't commit. He yelled that GE was trying to do all he can to help his brother out, but it was me who's playing victim after I refused to help out. We argued some more and I ended up going to stay with my mom for the night. He texted me some choice words. That's when I turned my phone off. We're still arguing about it. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling my husband my daughter doesn't have to accommodate his needs? My daughter is a second year in college, and although she lives at the dorms, during finals she comes home to learn quietly. My husband, not her bio dad, has changed jobs and works full-time from home now. I go to work from the office every day, so they're in the house by themselves. They've always gotten along fairly good. There's respect, understanding, and trust from each other's part. I don't know if there's love, but I can't push it. Husband met daughter too late to represent a father figure for her, and she never seeked him like that, so he didn't push it. Lately, my daughter complained that husband would put her to work, in disregard of the fact that she's learning. She would stay in her room to study, and at some point husband would knock saying, "Hey, I just had lunch. Could you please clean up the table? I'm starting a meeting." Or, "I spilled some water, mind wiping it, I gotta focus on work." She told me she feels like he doesn't care about her learning time and he doesn't acknowledge she is also working. She told me she wouldn't have minded if it was a one-time occurrence, but it has become a habit of his. To make sure of it, I asked daughter to not clean up next time he asks. I caught him red-handed this time. When I came home to the dirty table, I asked husband about it and he said, "Well, daughter should have cleaned it up." Daughter said she didn't even had lunch today. They don't always eat together. Sometimes one is hungry and one is not, and she didn't have time to clean up the table. I jumped at my husband, telling him daughter has exams and came here to learn, not to clean up after him. He tried to defend himself, saying he had an urgent meeting. I told him he could have came to clean up afterwards and mentioned I know it's not the first time it's happening. My husband sighed and said he thought it's not a big deal for my daughter to spare a couple minutes to quickly put the dishes in the dishwasher, or something like that. Daughter said that if he thinks it could be done so quickly, why didn't he do it? I had to break the argument and determine that everyone cleans up after themselves. Later, my husband told me in private that he felt like I humiliated him in front of my daughter. I told him to grow up and stop acting like daughter will pick up after his mess. He got upset. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling my girlfriend that she needs to learn when to shut the fuck up? I, male 24, have been dating my girlfriend, female 23, for about 5 months. Every other month, my grandmother hosts a large family dinner with all my close relatives. She encouraged me to invite my girlfriend over for the dinner yesterday. For some context, my entire family and I are black, and my girlfriend is from a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant family. I was at the dinner yesterday, and I went to go hang out with my niece, F7, who I'm very fond of, and the rest of the kids to play Monopoly. My girlfriend tagged along. My niece was counting the play money to pass out to everyone, and one of the other kids said something about how he wanted to be rich and get all the $500 bills. My niece, out of nowhere, blurted out that she couldn't be rich because she's an N-word. I was totally taken aback and asked her who told her that. Apparently, some bully at school said that to her on career day when they were sharing dream jobs, and she said she wanted to be a rich president. I told her that that wasn't true at all and hugged her, and she started crying. Then, my girlfriend jumped in and told my niece that it's really important to forgive the boy who said that because he probably wasn't trying to be mean and was just confused. I was totally shocked and told her she needs to stop trying to justify what happened. She then tried to hush me and started baby talking my niece and said that she should also try to be nicer to all the kids at school, because kindness goes both ways. I was totally livid at this point and pulled my girlfriend aside and quietly but angrily told her she needs to learn when to shut the fuck up. She started getting riled up at me and started rambling about how statistics are on her side. What the hell she meant. I wasn't really processing what she was saying, but I told her to get out of my grandma's home and just leave already. She drove me here in her car, and I was planning to hitch a ride home with my brother. This morning, I got multiple calls from my girlfriend's sisters calling me an abusive and shitty prick. I know my words were harsh, but I thought my girlfriend was talking in a disgusting manner to my niece. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling my girlfriend to go and ask to be adopted by the couple she is so obsessed with? My girlfriend Katie made a new friend a few months ago, Mary. Katie talked about her a lot. Mary said this, did that, started teaching her something, etc. I thought it was a bit weird how much Katie seemed to look up to Mary, but I didn't think much of it until Mary's husband, Joe, entered the picture too. From then on, Katie talked about their relationship all the time. How they do things, how they divide the chores, how respectful are they to each other. Basically how they are just the best couple ever. I've met them too and they are honestly nothing special, maybe a bit on the boring side even. Yesterday evening Katie was once again going on about them, saying things like Mary and Joe are true soulmates and theirs is the healthiest relationship she had ever seen, blah blah blah. I had a really fucking long day at work, so I told her I don't want to hear about them. I don't care about her creepy crush on this random ass couple, but if she likes them so much, she should go and ask them to adopt her or ask if she can be their third. Katie then gave me the cold shoulder and left to go home to her apartment instead of sleeping at my place like she was supposed to. I need to know if I'm right and her obsession is creepy or if I'm not seeing something right and I'm the asshole here. Update. She finally texted me back. She wrote a long-ass message saying that she had tried everything with me and she thought if she was patient and clear about her needs, I would eventually change for her. But she realized thanks to Mary and Joe that it's not her job to raise a man and get her boyfriend to respect her. She wrote a lot of other things about Mary too, like that Mary is truly proud of her husband and looks up to him, meanwhile she, Katie, can't find it in herself to look up to me in anything and so on. So, yeah, I hope you all are happy you got what you wanted.